Dylan, the cure is so fascinating and, goosebumpy, creepy. How did you find your way to the film?
Interestingly enough, it was brought to me. Um, they were looking for, I think, someone to, you know, um, exude sort of this feeling that you had with the character in terms of, you know, wanting something more for somebody, but also, you know, having to deal with, what you deal with as a doctor. So, um, it was something that I hadn't done before and something that was kind of new to me, and it excited me that way. And um, I just fell in love with the film once I read it.
Well, how did they describe Dr. Morrissey then to you?
They described Dr. Morrissey as his late 20s, kind of a budding doctor that's, excited about the craft and excited about what he does, but also a little bit, deer in the headlights. Um, and no, it it definitely, if you watch the film, it definitely describes him very well. So, um, yeah, it's very interesting when you get those types of characters, that kind of play a little bit both sides. Um, so yeah, that excited me for sure.
Was there anything you added then to this character that wasn't there on the breakdown?
You know, I wanted to make sure people weren't exactly sure what was going to happen with Dr. Morrissey. I think that was the biggest thing with me is to make sure that the audience isn't clued in or isn't exactly sure of what's about to happen. So for me, it was just, playing doctor and um, making sure that it wasn't given away.
Certainly, working with David Dastmalchian must have been a little a little
Oh,
mind blowing.
yeah, it was for sure. He's so talented, and um, you watch the movie and you're just fully in disbelief kind of thing when he works. So, um, anytime you get to be, you know, next to those kind of actors, you just get excited for sure.
Was there much room maybe to improv, or did you guys stick closer to the lines to be sure that you fully captivated this intense film?
Yeah, on this one, I stayed closer to the lines. In other films, I think there's a little bit more play, but with this one, it was important to, get the writing out there. It was so well written that it didn't really, call for too much improv. But yeah, usually I'm a little bit more of an improv guy, but on this one, it stuck to the script for the most part.
How hands-on then was director Nancy Leopardi when it came to sort of giving you guys direction for scenes, or did she really trust you guys to mold your characters?
She's extremely hands-on. She knows exactly what's going on all the time. And one thing I really liked about her was she let us go and she let us kind of play. And I think um, that's a tough give in terms of directing is to
Sure.
let people go and do that kind of thing. So really respect her and she was so nice to me. So I really hope we get to work again soon.
It's just startling, start to finish, to watch this film. Was there a particular scene that you're most proud of the work you put into, or maybe one that challenged you the most when you were filming?
Yeah, I think the scene that I look towards is the ending of my character a little bit. I think, to make it believable that you're not sure what's about to happen is always what we strive for as actors. So um yeah, I'd take pride in that part of it for sure.
I mean, all of it is so intense, start to finish. Is there a way you tend to decompress after filming like that?
Yeah, I take a week or two off. I think that's the most underrated part about the business is you kind of get worked up for a few weeks and you need that sort of, all right, I'm out of this character, I'm out of this movie. Let's just chill out for a second and regroup. But yeah, this one specifically, I had to take a week or two off.
And I'm sure it was only so much intensity you can just have to decompress for a little bit extra longer after reading this.
Oh, definitely.
I mean,
Definitely.
after doing this.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, my goodness. What what do you hope lingers with audiences that watch The Cure? Is there a message or maybe an emotion, maybe sort of rein it in on the personal the personal
Yeah, you know,
changes or finding the fountain of youth or things like that?
yeah, I got asked that by a friend recently, and this movie kind of reminds me of the 90s a little bit. It's a little bit more up that alley, and um I just think that it makes you think, and I just want audiences to kind of like come up with their own assumption about what they think, and um it's a scary movie, and it's supposed to be kind of a scary movie. So um I just again I hope everyone can enjoy the fact that it's so, you know, not foreshadowed and so, you know, um not predictable. So I just hope
Oh,
everyone can kind of appreciate that part of it.
my goodness, it's all so fascinating and maybe too close to home these these
Yeah,
days with
yeah. No,
everything that
it felt like that watching it back. It definitely felt too close to home, and um, I grew up in a situation where it was a little bit, charmed and similar like that. So it definitely hit a little too close to home at times for sure.
I mean, Mrs. Polanski was like next level to me.
Yeah, yeah. No, and Ashley Greene is such a great actress too. I think she's just really great at what she does. So I think that whole dynamic between David, her, and our lead is just so awesome to watch.
What kind of response have you been receiving to the film so far from people who have gotten to see it?
It's been overly positive, and I think with these independent movies, sometimes it doesn't hit home. It doesn't always connect because there's certain aspects of the movie that aren't, studio ran and aren't kind of what people expect kind of thing. And um, I really think overall the performances kind of put it over. Um, I think the story is amazing, and I think, anytime you get a story like that, if it's not acted well, it doesn't much matter. So, um, yeah, I really think, with the direction of Nancy, it really came together, and everyone seems to really be taking to the film, which is always exciting.
What's next for you? Have you been busy working on some other projects recently? Maybe some less intense ones.
Yeah, yeah. It was ironic. I went from that to a pretty intense one in Vegas. It's called Vegas, A True Love Story, and I played the bad guy in the film, which um, was an intense experience, but it was so cathartic in a way. It was so much fun playing the bad guy. I don't really play the bad guy in real life, so for me, it's just it's so awesome to be able to play something opposite of yourself. And I uh, I got to do that. I filmed another movie in between that called Sacred Evil, um, and that's another one where I play the bad guy. So I don't know what it is, but
These
it just
roles find you lately.
yeah, it seems like it, and it might say something about myself, so I should probably check in the mirror just to make sure. But
There's a
um,
dichotomy to you.
yeah, yeah, apparently. So I did that, and then I'm up for a few movies coming up later this year. So um, yeah, just really trying to keep my head down and just keep working, and hopefully all things work out. And That's just kind of what I do.
What have been some of your favorite projects then to be a part of?
There's a movie called Bandit that I did a few years back that I really enjoyed. It's with Josh Duhamel, Mel Gibson, Alicia Cuthbert. Um, and I really enjoyed my performance in that specifically. It was one of my favorite ones that I've done. Um, and I've gotten to be in some really great situations with some really great actors over the years, and um, but that one felt like it was almost sort of you're here now. You've kind of got to the point where you're a professional actor, and um, that one kind of sticks out at me for sure.
What would you like to say then to everyone who are fans and supporters of the incredible work you continue to do on our screens, Dylan?
Oh, well, I just thank everyone for watching, to be honest. I grew up really wanting to do this, and now that I get to do it, I don't take it for granted. So if you spend a minute or if you spend hours or days, whatever you want to say, I appreciate it all. And um, yeah, I hope people continue to follow the trajectory and see what I can do next.
2026 is going to be a big year. If anything, you've got this, incredible film that you already have out. Big things I know are still to come with so many good things ahead of you with the year. We're only halfway there. We're not even halfway there.
I know, it's scary. It's scary. Time's moving a little slow and fast at the same
Same
time.
time.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's a really exciting year. I'm really excited for people to see what's coming up next and just to really appreciate the time always.